Dear listeners, a new day and a new story to discuss. Today, I'm going to tell you a story that interests me. Listen and write down what you think about this situation. I'm interested in your opinions. As I sat in the muted glow of the kitchen light, my mind raced, replaying the events that led to this moment of solitude. The shadows around me seemed to echo the darkness that had crept into my life over the past month. It was a slow, insidious process, one that began with whispers of doubt and culminated in a revelation that upended everything I believed about my marriage. It was a Thursday evening, much like any other, except Gloria wasn't home. She'd been spending more time at Eva's lately, her childhood friend who had re-entered her life with an unsettling frequency. Our daughter Judy, with her innocent eyes, had mentioned something about an Uncle Eric at Aunt Eva's. Kids say the darndest things, but this time, her words clung to me, nagging at the corners of my mind. That night, as I tucked Judy into bed, her tiny voice broke the silence. "Daddy, when is Mommy coming home? She's always at Aunt Eva's now." Her words were like tiny needles pricking at my heart. "Soon, sweetheart," I replied, forcing a smile. "Mommy's just helping Aunt Eva with some things." But even as I said it, I knew there was something more, something unsaid that lingered in the air like a bad omen. I couldn't shake the feeling. Restless, I made a decision that would change everything. I needed to see for myself what was going on. The drive to Eva's house was a blur, my hands mechanically steering the car while my mind raced with possibilities I dared not verbalize. Arriving at Eva's, I noticed a car in the driveway that I vaguely recognized. It wasn't Gloria's, but its presence at this hour was a puzzle piece that didn't fit. My heart pounded against my ribcage as I approached the door, key in hand, a silent intruder in the night. The scene that greeted me was a gut punch. There was Gloria, wrapped in an embrace with a man I barely knew. They were lost in each other, oblivious to the world around them, oblivious to me standing there, my world crumbling. "Gloria." The word erupted from me, a mix of anger, pain, and disbelief. They sprang apart, their expressions a mix of shock and guilt. "Chad, this isn't what it looks like," Gloria stammered, her eyes wide and pleading. I felt a bitter laugh escape me. "Isn't it? Then what is it, Gloria? Because it looks like betrayal to me." My voice was steady, but inside, I was a tempest of emotions. "Chad, please, let me explain," she pleaded, reaching out to me. I recoiled from her touch as if burned. "Explain? What's there to explain? I can see perfectly what's going on." The words were ice, and I saw her flinch. I left without another word, the image of their embrace seared into my memory. The drive home was a lonely journey. I was a man adrift, navigating a sea of betrayal and lies. What I had seen couldn't be unseen. The trust we had built over years shattered in one irreversible moment. Now, in the quiet of my kitchen, I knew that life as I knew it was over. The unraveling of our family had begun, and I was powerless to stop it. All I could do was protect Judy and try to shield her from the pain that was sure to come. As I sat there in the kitchen, the silence was oppressive, a stark contrast to the chaos in my mind. My thoughts were a whirlwind, each one a stinging reminder of what I had just witnessed. I tried to piece together the fragments of the evening, searching for some semblance of sense in the madness. The clock on the wall ticked on, indifferent to my turmoil. It was late, and the house felt emptier than ever. I needed to talk to someone, to vent, to make sense of the jumbled mess in my head. But who? My friends? No, they would only offer cliched advice. My family? They would be too quick to judge. In that moment, I realized the profound loneliness of betrayal. I reached for my phone, scrolling through my contacts list aimlessly. Then, I paused. There was one person who might understand, who might offer a perspective without judgment. It was Mark, an old college friend who had been through a messy divorce a couple of years back. I hesitated, then dialed. "Hey, Chad? This is a surprise. Everything okay?" Mark's voice was groggy but concerned. "Not really, man. Can you talk?" I asked, my voice barely more than a whisper. "Of course, Chad. What's up?" Mark replied, now fully awake. "It's Gloria. I caught her tonight with another man. At Eva's place." I could barely get the words out. There was a pause on the other end, and then Mark said softly, "I'm sorry, Chad. I know how much it hurts." We talked for what felt like hours. Mark listened as I poured out my heart, venting my anger, my disbelief, and my fear for the future, especially for Judy. He didn't offer empty platitudes or easy solutions, just a sympathetic ear and the wisdom of his own experience. Finally, as the conversation wound down, Mark said something that stuck with me. "You're going to get through this, Chad. It's going to be tough, no doubt about it. But you're not alone. You've got Judy, and you've got friends who care. Lean on us when you need to. I hung up the phone feeling a little less alone in the world. The conversation hadn't solved anything, but it had given me a bit of strength to face the coming days. The next morning, I awoke to the sound of Judy stirring in her room. The events of last night hung over me like a dark cloud, but I pushed them aside. Judy needed me to be strong, to be her rock in this storm. I made breakfast, trying to act as normal as possible for her sake. Judy was her usual cheerful self, blissfully unaware of the turmoil her parents were going through. I watched her chatter on about school, about her friends, and I felt a pang of guilt. How was I going to explain this to her? How could I make her understand that her world was about to change? But those were questions for another time. Right now, I needed to focus on the immediate future. I needed to make some decisions about what to do next. Do I confront Gloria again? Do I start the process of separation? And most importantly, how do I ensure Judy's well-being through all of this? As Judy left for school, I realized that the unraveling of our family life was just the first step in a long, difficult journey. But I also knew that I had to take that journey, no matter how daunting it seemed. For Judy's sake, for my own sake, I had to find a way to rebuild, to create a new life out of the ashes of the old one. The house felt eerily quiet after Judy left for school. I stood in the living room, the remnants of our morning routine around me, feeling a sense of dread for the conversation that awaited with Gloria. My mind was a battlefield, torn between the love I once felt and the betrayal that now consumed it. My phone vibrated, jolting me from my thoughts. It was Gloria. I hesitated, then answered. "We need to talk," she said, her voice laced with urgency. "Yeah, we do," I replied, my tone flat. "Can we meet at the park?" "Somewhere neutral," she suggested. I agreed, the public setting appealing to my desire to avoid a more emotional scene. The park was empty, save for a few joggers and dog walkers in the distance. Gloria was already there, sitting on a bench, her posture tense. As I approached, she stood up. "Chad, I know you're hurt, and you have every right to be, but please hear me out," she pleaded. I sat down beside her, maintaining a distance. "Go ahead," I said, bracing myself. She took a deep breath. "What you saw, it was a mistake. Eric was a moment of weakness, a lapse in judgment. It wasn't about us, our marriage, or Judy. It was just me being selfish." Her words, intended to be an explanation, felt like excuses to me. "A moment? Gloria, a moment doesn't last for months. You made your choice. Chad, I love you. I love our family. I got caught up in something. It didn't mean anything. Can we not try to work this out?" Her eyes searched mine, looking for a glimmer of the love we once shared. I shook my head, the hurt too raw, too fresh. "You broke our trust, Gloria. How can we go back from that? How can I believe anything you say? I'll do anything, Chad. Therapy, counseling. I'll cut ties with Eva and Eric. Please, just don't let this be the end for us," she begged, tears streaming down her face. I looked at her, the woman I had loved for so many years, now a stranger to me. "I can't make that decision right now. I need time to think, to understand how I feel." Gloria nodded, wiping her tears. "I'll give you space. But please, think about Judy. She needs both of us." The mention of Judy was a sharp reminder of the innocents caught in the crossfire of our marital strife. I will always be there for Judy. She's my priority. As for us, I don't know. We sat in silence for a few moments, the autumn leaves rustling around us. Then, without another word, I stood up and walked away, leaving Gloria alone on the bench. As I walked back home, my mind was in turmoil. The confrontation had brought no clarity, only a deeper realization of the chasm that had opened up between us. The path forward was murky, filled with difficult choices and painful realizations. But amidst the uncertainty, one thing was clear: Judy's well-being would guide my every step. For her, I would find the strength to navigate the storm that lay ahead. Walking back home, I felt a strange mix of emptiness and determination. The park's encounter with Gloria had stripped away any illusions of a simple resolution. Each step I took felt heavy, mirroring the weight of decisions that lay ahead. Once home, the silence of the house was a stark reminder of the void Gloria's actions had created. I wandered into Judy's room, her toys and drawings a bittersweet testament to the innocence that was blissfully unaware of the adult complexities unraveling around her. I needed a plan, a course of action. My first step was clear: I had to seek legal counsel. Protecting my rights and ensuring Judy's welfare was paramount. I picked up my phone and dialed the number of a family lawyer I had been recommended by a colleague some time ago. "Hello, this is Chad. I need to schedule a consultation," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. The lawyer, Mr. Peterson, was calm and professional. "Of course, Chad. Can you come in tomorrow morning?" The appointment set, I felt a small sense of progress amidst the chaos. But there was still the daunting task of discussing the situation with Judy. How much should I tell her? How do I explain that her mother might not be around as much? Lost in these thoughts, I didn't hear the front door open. It was Judy, back from school, her face bright with the day's adventures. "Daddy, you won't believe what happened today," she exclaimed, her energy temporarily lifting the gloom. "What happened, sweetheart?" I asked, forcing a smile. "We learned about butterflies. Did you know they start as caterpillars?" she chirped, launching into a detailed explanation of metamorphosis. Her enthusiasm was infectious, but it also served as a painful reminder of the transformation our family was undergoing, not the magical kind, but one fraught with pain and uncertainty. After Judy went to bed, I sat down with a notepad, jotting down questions and concerns to discuss with Mr. Peterson. Custody arrangements, financial implications, living arrangements, the list seemed endless. Later that night, unable to sleep, I found myself staring at the ceiling, contemplating the twisted path my life had taken. My phone buzzed, a text from Mark. "Just checking in, buddy. Remember, you're not alone in this." His message, though simple, was a lifeline in the storm. I realized then that while the path ahead was uncertain, I wasn't walking it alone. I had friends, family, and most importantly, I had Judy. Whatever happened, I would navigate this journey for her. The night stretched on, a quiet sentinel to my restless thoughts. The challenges ahead were daunting, but I knew I had to face them head-on. For Judy's sake, I would find the strength to rebuild, to create a semblance of normalcy in the upheaval. This was more than just a legal battle or a personal struggle. It was a fight for my daughter's future, and I was determined to win it. The tension in the air was palpable as Gloria and I sat in the mediator's office, a cold, neutral space that seemed to amplify the bitterness between us. The mediator, a middle-aged woman with a stern demeanor, shuffled papers before looking up. "Let's try to keep this civil and focused on the well-being of Judy," she began, but her words felt like they were falling on deaf ears. Gloria shot me a venomous look. "Civil? After what he's done?" She spat, her voice laced with anger. "I've done? You're the one who—" I started, my voice rising, but the mediator raised her hand, cutting me off. "We're not here to rehash personal grievances. This is about finding a solution that works for everyone, especially your daughter." The meeting progressed, but it was clear that finding common ground would be an uphill battle. Gloria's demands were steep, and every suggestion I made was met with scorn. "You just want to punish me," Gloria accused, her voice trembling with fury. "This isn't about punishment, Gloria. It's about what's best for Judy," I retorted, trying to maintain a semblance of calm. "Best for Judy? Or best for your ego?" she shot back. The mediator intervened, trying to steer the conversation back to more constructive waters, but it was a losing battle. Every topic, from custody to financial support, devolved into a shouting match. "You're trying to take everything from me," Gloria yelled, her face red with anger. "I'm trying to protect our daughter from your toxic behavior." I yelled back, my patience fraying. The mediator called for a break, but the damage was done. We sat in silence, the air thick with unsaid words and unresolved anger. After the meeting, the battle moved to the courtroom. Lawyers presented arguments, documents were scrutinized, and witnesses were called. The process was grueling, each day in court leaving me more drained than the last. Gloria's lawyer painted a picture of me as an uncaring, vindictive husband, twisting facts to fit their narrative. My lawyer fought back, exposing the inconsistencies in Gloria's story and her questionable behavior. The turning point came when Gloria took the stand. Her testimony was emotional, but under cross-examination, her story began to unravel. The evidence of her affair, her negligence towards Judy, all came to light. The final verdict was a mixture of relief and heartbreak. Custody was granted to me, with Gloria receiving limited visitation rights. The judge's words were a sobering reminder of the reality we had created for our daughter. Leaving the courtroom, I felt a hollow victory. Yes, I had won, but at what cost? Our family was shattered, and the road to healing seemed longer than ever. As I drove home, I thought of Judy, waiting for me with her innocent smile and endless questions. She was my anchor, my reason for fighting through this storm. The legal battles were over, but the real challenge lay ahead, rebuilding a life for Judy and me, finding a way to move forward from the wreckage of a broken marriage. For her, I would face any challenge, make any sacrifice. She was my light in the darkness, my hope in the midst of despair. Months had passed since the courtroom drama, and the wounds, though still fresh, were beginning to heal. Judy and I had settled into a new routine, a life that was slowly piecing itself back together. But the peace was fragile, always teetering on the edge of Gloria's sporadic presence. It was a crisp Saturday morning when Gloria arrived for her scheduled visitation with Judy. Her knock on the door was tentative, almost hesitant. I opened the door, bracing myself for the inevitable confrontation. "Chad, I've missed her so much," Gloria said softly, her eyes avoiding mine. "I know. She's inside," I replied, my voice neutral. I could see the struggle in Gloria's eyes, a battle between regret and defensiveness. As Judy ran to her mother, their embrace was a poignant reminder of what had been lost. I watched, a silent observer, my heart aching for my daughter. Once Judy was preoccupied with her toys, Gloria turned to me. "Chad, I've been doing some thinking. I want to apologize for everything." I was taken aback. "Apologize?" I echoed, disbelief coloring my tone. "Yes, I know it doesn't change what happened, but I've realized how much I've hurt you," hurt Judy. The sincerity in her voice was unexpected, disarming even. "Gloria, it's not just about apologies. It's about actions. Judy needs stability, not empty promises." "I know, and I'm trying. Therapy, counseling. I'm working on myself, for Judy's sake," she insisted, her voice trembling with emotion. I wanted to believe her, but the scars of betrayal ran deep. "It's going to take time, Gloria. A lot of time. I understand. And I'll wait, for as long as it takes. I just want to be part of Judy's life, to be a better mother to her." Her words hung in the air, a fragile hope amidst the wreckage of our past. I nodded slowly, the complexity of our situation weighing heavily on me. After Gloria left, Judy clung to me, her small face troubled. "Daddy, will Mommy be okay?" she asked, her innocent eyes searching mine. "She's trying, sweetheart." "We all are," I replied, hugging her close. The months that followed were a slow dance of cautious interactions and tentative steps towards healing. Gloria's efforts to better herself were apparent, and gradually, a new form of co-parenting began to emerge. Amidst the healing, an unexpected opportunity arose. A job offers in another state, a chance for a fresh start, a new beginning. It was a decision fraught with complexity, uprooting Judy, moving away from Gloria, starting anew. I sat down with Judy, explaining the situation. "It's a big change, honey. What do you think?" Judy's response was thoughtful, mature beyond her years. "Will we be happy there, Daddy?" "I think so, sweetheart. It's a chance for us to start a new adventure," I said, trying to sound optimistic. The decision was made. We would embark on this new chapter. As for Gloria, it meant redefining our co-parenting arrangement, navigating the challenges of distance. On the eve of our departure, Gloria came to say goodbye. The moment was bittersweet, a mix of sorrow and hope. "Take care of her, Chad. And take care of yourself too," Gloria said, her voice laced with a newfound respect. "I will. And you, keep working on yourself, Gloria." For Judy's sake. As we drove away the next day, Judy waved back at the life we were leaving behind. Ahead of us lay the unknown, a path filled with possibilities and challenges.